Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to day 2 of the 2022 World Rowing Under-19 and Under-23 Championships. If you're joining us online on the stream, a very warm welcome. Remember, you can join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and TikTok. And if you're communicating, use the hashtag World Rowing Under-19 Championships, Under-23 Championships, WRUCH Varese. There are many, many ways. Racing gets underway in 3 minutes.
Di nuovo ben ritrovati anche a voi che ci seguite da casa, siamo nuovamente in diretta mondiale, pronti per accompagnarvi in questo pomeriggio. Oggi ci concentreremo solo sui singoli, continuate a restare con noi e soprattutto a rendere questo evento mondiale anche sui canali social World Rowing.
So coming up this afternoon, we've got the repechage in the single sculls, both open weights and the light weights after yesterday's heats. And we've had a morning of terrifically high quality racing in the heats we've seen today, including astonishing World Championship best time in the women's, was it the women's pair this morning? Sorry, it was with the women's Cox 4, I beg your pardon. Australia smashing the World Championship best time by 10 seconds, which I just find absolutely extraordinary. And this was in a preliminary race.
You're exactly right. Was a wonderful race. This morning Australia flew home, but of course we have to recap in Italian as well. Una gara strepitosa, l'Australia che ha battuto il record del mondo nel 4 con di oltre 10 secondi.
So I think Luca may have just mentioned the wind has swung round a little bit now. It's blowing up the course. Whereas this morning it was a very helpful tailwind. It's not a strong wind, it's a breeze more than a wind. But we may not get quite such quick times this afternoon, but there's certainly a lot to play for, so who knows? So, ladies and gentlemen, we start with the repechage in the Under-23 lightweight women's single sculls.
Siamo pronti per dare il via al nostro pomeriggio ai remi con il primo recupero del singolo Under-23 pesi leggeri femminile.
In lane 1, Morocco, Maidulina El Alawi. Lane 2, Denmark, Rico Nielsen. Lane 3, Turkey, Elis Ozbey. Lane 4, Slovenia, Ruby Chop. And lane 5, Tunisia, Sara Zamali.
Marocco, Danimarca, Turchia, Slovenia e Tunisia, le nazioni impegnate in questo primo recupero del nostro pomeriggio.
So, underway in the repechage of the lightweight women's single sculls. So, these are crews that didn't get through directly to the semi-finals from yesterday's heats. Greece, Italy, Chile, and Romania managed to do that in the 4 heats. But we now have a second opportunity for these boats to go through. The first 2 will make it through to the semi-finals of the A-B events. The remaining crews will contest the C-D semi-finals. So, there is a lot to play for here.
È partita la prima regata del nostro pomeriggio e allora noi andiamo a lanciarci insieme a loro per seguire l'azione direttamente dall'acqua in questa specialità, il singolo leggero, che ha registrato anche il record del mondo ieri, grazie alla Grecia, con il tempo di 7:24 e 59. L'atleta greca, forte sicuramente di una stagione di successo, cercherà poi nelle semifinali di essere protagonista. Qui invece l'occasione per ripescare i 2 migliori equipaggi. Vedremo chi riuscirà a passare il turno. Ricordo ancora Marocco, Danimarca, Tunisia con la Slovenia e la Turchia.
So approaching 400 meters, I think a lot of people will be expecting Elis Özbey of Turkey to do well. She was the fastest of all the boats, actually, who made it through to the repechage. So she'll be looking to do well here. We've got our commentary team out on the water, ready to take us through this race. Not sure how much you can see from your 1,000-meter mark, Colleen, but I can tell you that our athlete from Turkey is just edging in front right now.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Rob, and good afternoon to everyone from around the world tuning in, and to the folks in the grandstand. We've got a great crowd here at the Under-23 Championships with some 1,000 rowers or so from around the world. I'm here with Niamh Hayes from Team Ireland. Niamh, hello.
Hi, Colleen.
And we're delighted to tell you about this race. How is it unfolding? Well, the story is that Turkey has led. So, Rob, as you said, the Turkish athlete Elis Özbey led from the beginning in this lightweight women's single sculls in the first repechage. It's 2 to advance to semifinal A-B. So the top 2 spots are those coveted positions. And running second in contention for that second place position, though still early, it is Ruby Čap of Slovenia. And perhaps not surprising to see the 19-year-old running point with the Turkish sculler. She took silver in the juniors women's double back at the European Championships in 2021. In her junior days, she just missed the podium in the junior women's double. She's moved into the single at the under-23 level, and she's doing it in style, holding with the Turkish sculler who's running first.
Yes, we're seeing as they're starting to approach us now at the 1,000 metre mark. It is opening up a lot. So Turkey, they're still leading it out, followed in by Slovenia. Then we have Denmark, Tunisia and Morocco. The Morocco sculler Majali El Alaoui, only rower from the Morocco team in the under-23 competition. So it's so inspiring to be the one and only competitor. So well done to her. They're just starting to approach her. We can see now that the Turkish sculler Elis Özbey, she is well out ahead, clear water ahead of second place Slovenia.
Yeah, it's a great point, Niamh. We've got fantastic representation from all over the world. Morocco, Puerto Rico, just great to see. New Zealand, of course, Australia from the other side here in Italy and Varese for the Under-23 World Rowing Championships. At the moment, it continues to be Elis Özbey of Turkey with the fastest time from the prior round by a good 20 seconds or so over Ruby Čap, the Slovenian sculler. Back behind them, well, it's open water then to the rest of the field. Running a really close third, it is the sculler from Denmark. So Ray Koch Nielsen in out of lane 2, and then over to Tunisia, which is Zara Zamali of Tunisia, lane 5, and then running back to El Alaoui from Morocco. So moving nicely through the third 500. And Tim, there's so much on the line in these repechage. Tell us why.
Yeah, this is your very last chance if you are here in the reps to get into the AB semi-final and keep your hopes and your chances alive for a medal at the end of this under-23 tournament. So it's very important to grasp this opportunity and take one of those 2 places straight into the AB semi-final. Currently, no surprise there to see Turkey's Alice Osbey in the lead. She is by far the most experienced athlete at the under-23 level of this repechage. And I'm actually a bit surprised to see her here because she is European and world champion, albeit in the lightweight women's double. But she didn't have the best of heats yesterday, so she's making amends and sculling along very nicely, controlled at 30 strokes a minute. She takes her time to lock the blades at the front end of the stroke, and she moves along very nicely. Clear water over to the Slovenian athlete Ruby Chop in the second position. So she has her hands firmly on that second and last qualifying position to the A final. And then it's another clear water lead over Denmark and Tunisia. And they are way back, and I don't see them fighting their way back to the front, but well, anything can happen. There is still 500 meters to go, but Alice Osbey from Turkey looking in control in this first heat of first repechage, of the lightweight women's single sculls.
Un buon pomeriggio anche dalla postazione dei 1500 metri. Iniziamo con il primo recupero. Vediamo subito l'equipaggio della Turchia che ha totalizzato il secondo miglior tempo, superando quindi in velocità tutti gli equipaggi già qualificati, ad eccezione della Grecia, la quale addirittura ha messo a segno un record mondiale. Alice Osbey, quindi della Turchia, a fare l'andatura in questo primo recupero del singolo pesileggeri femminile. Per la seconda posizione la Slovenia, più arretrate le altre imbarcazioni, quindi appannaggio di Turchia e Slovenia. Il probabile passaggio del turno alle semifinali A e B, gli altri in semifinale C e D.
So it's almost solidified at the front with Alice Osbey there from Turkey. Firmly in first position, followed by Ruby Chop from Slovenia in second position, and the younger athletes, talking for example about Tunisia's Sarah Zamali, stepping up from the junior level. This is her first under-23 event. She's in fourth position, I think, and Rieke Nielsen from Denmark currently in third, with the sculler from Morocco, El Aloui, in sixth position. But Rob, different conditions from this morning. We now have a headwind instead of a tailwind. What does that change for the athletes?
I'll make them work a little bit harder. I guess it's not going to be quite so easy to get down there in a double quick time, but timing isn't the important thing now. It's just getting ahead of the rest of the pack, isn't it? And that's something that Alice Osbey has certainly done. A Ruby Chop way back, but pretty confident of qualifying in second place.
Una grande Turchia, una Turchia capace di volare sulle acque di casa e ancora dimostrare di essere la singolista più forte in questo pomeriggio. Quindi Turchia e Slovenia oramai sul traguardo.
Very comfortable for Alice Osbey as she comes through to take first qualification spot for the AB semi-final. And Ruby Chop in lane 4 for Slovenia also knows that she's comfortably home as well. So they are through to the AB semi-final. Denmark's Rieke Nielsen just coming through in lane 2 in third place. And she and the other athletes will go through to contest the semi-finals of the CD events.
Sorridono Turchia e Slovenia, sono queste le due nazioni che passano il turno e ci danno quindi l'arrivederci in semifinale per continuare a sognare in grande e in chiave iridata. Gli altri invece finiranno a gareggiare e soprattutto a vivere quello che è il loro campionato del mondo nelle piccolissime finali C e D per le posizioni dalla 13ª in poi.
The second repechage well underway with Finland, Mexico, Germany, Algeria, USA. If you've still got them in your sights, Colleen, perhaps you could bring us up to date.
Yeah, they're out of sight, so we'll hand it straight to the 1500. But Algeria, Tim, Nihad Ben Shaldi doing a great job in this race.
Yeah, she is, absolutely. She's, in the third 500, she is leading this race currently, and she has a good competitor right beside her to her left, racing in lane number 3. We have Cosima Klotten from Germany, from the Neuser Ruder Verein, and that athlete, the German sculler, was actually 5th at the World Championships last year in Rachice. So she's Ben Chadli from Algeria, doing very well to stay more or less level at this stage. 500 meters still left to go. And I think these two young athletes are, they have clear water advantage, so they have that spot into this AB semi-final firmly within their grasp. It's almost, I think, 40 meters back to the third positioned athlete, which is Isabella Beckley from the USA. So that's a healthy margin to sit on and a comfortable lead to have.
Ed è proprio Cosima Klotten in rappresentanza dei colori della Germania a fare l'andatura in questo secondo recupero del singolo leggero femminile. Lei che è stata già bronzo ai mondiali nel 2019 e nel 2020 nella categoria dei pesi leggeri e argento agli europei nel 4 pesi leggeri sempre nell'anno 2020. Quest'oggi pronta ad andare alla conquista della semifinale A e B insieme all'Algeria che si trova in questo momento in seconda posizione. Era partita molto bene l'Algeria sul passaggio ai 1500 metri, la Germania ha preso la testa della corsa e sul traguardo volano verso la conquista della semifinale A e B.
So we come to the closing stages of the second repechage of the lightweight women's single sculls, and we can see two different kinds of approaches where Cosima Klotten from Germany keeps rating 33 strokes a minute. I think Ben Chadli from Algeria is taking her foot off the gas and slowing down because the margin they have is comfortable at this stage, Rob.
Yeah, it's similar to the previous race, isn't it, where we've got two up front who look like the obvious qualifiers here. Isabella Begley of the USA, just a bit further back, Ojeda Nunez of Mexico, and Kanga Sameka of Finland as well, probably out of that now. But Cosima Klotten really showing her class here.
Un grande vantaggio per l'atleta della Germania che insieme all'Algeria vola verso la grande conquista e la promozione e il riscatto per il passaggio del turno. Tutte le altre sono molto attardate, quindi di fatto sarà appannaggio esclusivo di Germania ed Algeria la promozione per l'accesso in semifinale.
Cosima Klotten then comes home across the line looking very comfortable, very confident indeed. 2.5 lengths ahead of second place Ned Benchaldi of Algeria. That's a great finish for her. Those two, and she is delighted as she salutes the crowd and indeed her own effort. Well done, congratulations. Through to the AB semi-final, those two crews. So medals still being contested by them. The remaining crews will go through to the CD semi-finals and its overall positioning, which is their lot now. The third repechage is well down the course now with Australia's Grace Seifer in lane 1, Pedra van der Molen of the Netherlands in 2, Marin Kawamura of Japan in lane 3, and Nuntida Krayanjam of Thailand in lane 4. And Colleen, they must be right outside your window now.
Right outside our window and passing quite quickly because they've now moved well into the third quarter of the race. And the story of the race, well, it's a story about the Netherlands because Pedra van der Molen has led at the 500, now through the 1,000, into the third quarter of the race. It's 2 to advance on to semifinal A-B. It's the last chance, as Tim told us earlier. Australia, Grace Seifer putting herself in a position to capture one of those qualifying positions. Then back to Japan, Marin Kawamura, and over to Thailand. And delighted to see Nuntinda Krayanjam back. We saw her at the World Cup, the second World Cup earlier this year, where she finished 8th in the lightweight women's single. So fantastic to see her here at the Under-23 Championships.
And she is actually the only competitor from Thailand in the Under-23, so absolutely super to see her here. But as they are going down the course, it is the Netherlands, with Australia quite close to them. They are holding the first 2 spots, but as they go down the course, do you think it will change, Colleen?
Yeah, we'll have to see, won't we? It's looking like we have 2 pretty clear leaders. Tim, you're at the 1,500 meter mark. What can you see from where you're positioned?
Yeah, I can see that the Australian athlete Grace Seifer is trying to make a move and get her bauble ahead of Pedra van der Molen's single with 550 meters still left to go. Those two are way ahead of the other athletes in this repechage. But yeah, it's an Aussie-Dutch fight all the way to the line, I think, because they are still, well, they're matching each other for rates, both at 31 strokes a minute, and Federa van der Molen is still in the lead by about 3/4 of a length ahead, but she looks comfortable, and I would bet my money on Federa van der Molen to win this, because she was second in yesterday's heat, or the quickest heat yesterday, so she was the fastest overall of all these athletes. And she's almost breaking clear now from Grace Cypher from Australia, followed by Kawamura from Japan and Kranjang Jam from Thailand in fourth position.
Un recupero molto interessante, questo terzo del singolo pesileggeri femminile, che vede l'Olanda in prima posizione. Lei che ha partecipato nella seconda batteria più veloce nella giornata di ieri, oggi al riscatto per andare all'accesso della semifinale A e B insieme all'Australia. Sono molto vicine le imbarcazioni di testa, quindi sicuramente all'interno della semifinale vorranno dire la loro. Più arretrata invece il Giappone con la Thailandia, quando ormai mancano gli ultimi 400 metri anche per questo percorso di giornata.
So with a little over 200 meters left to go, Rob, Federa van der Molen from the Netherlands still in the lead, but she can't really relax, can she? Because Grace Cypher from Australia keeps putting pressure on her in these last closing meters.
Yeah, and she's unlikely to ease that pressure either, is she? But the one comfort for Van der Molen, if she can't hold on to that first spot, she'll certainly hold on to second and qualify, but still looking good for her.
Una lotta a due, una lotta che potrebbe portare un esito diverso rispetto a quello che abbiamo visto nella prima parte del percorso. Da un lato l'Olanda, dall'altro l'Australia. In acqua 1 l'Australia, in acqua 2 invece l'Olanda, ma indipendentemente dal risultato saranno entrambe promosse. Si tirano comunque una con l'altra verso il traguardo. L'Olanda che sta cercando di fuggir via davanti all'Australia in un arrivo magistrale, una gara nella gara su un altro pianeta. Olanda ed Australia, poi tutte le altre.
Just coming up to the finish line, Van der Molen is making sure of this one. She wanted to come home first. She's done that by a length and a quarter ahead of Grace Cypher of Australia. Those two athletes go through to the AB semi-final. Well done them. The remaining crews will contest the CD semis for overall placings. On to the fourth and final of the lightweight women's single sculls repechage, with Uruguay in lane 1, Great Britain in 2, Switzerland in 3, Argentina lane 4. Take it away, Colleen.
Thanks very much, Rob. Great Britain. Well, it's been a pleasure to watch Olivia Bates put on the pressure in the second quarter of the race, and it's looking like she's going to carry that through to the 1,000. She was second at the 500-meter mark. The Argentinian sculler led Giulietta Gonzalez Ricciuti, and they've swapped positions. We know it's 2 to qualify for the semifinal A, B, but look out for Switzerland, Neve.
It is incredible here. They're just passing us by the window, and there is a great battle between Argentina and Switzerland. Alain Schweizer there from Switzerland, coached by Edouard Blanc, 22 years old, but we have the 18-year-old young sculler Argentina in lane 4, closest to us here. Super battle going on. It is going stroke for stroke here at the moment. They're matching each other's stroke rates, matching each other's speed, so it's really all to play for between the two of those for that second spot at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one coming down now mid third quarter, approaching that 750-meter mark. Olivia Bates now well in control of this race. The GB fans will be happy to hear that at a cool 34 strokes per minute. And then just behind her, well, the battle between Switzerland and Argentina continues. Giulietta Gonzalez Ricciuti making her international debut, Tim.
Yeah, and that's really impressive to make your international debut, and at this age, only 18 years old for the young Argentinian sculler, and she's right up there in the mix, and well, definitely she has a chance of getting into that AB semi-final. The first place, though, will go to Olivia Bates from Great Britain. She normally rows at the Nottinghamshire County Rowing Club, but now she's here in the GB vest and representing her country at Lago di Varese, but yeah, she's a length of clear water ahead of the two athletes from Switzerland and Argentina who are fighting it out stroke for that last spot into the AB semi-final in the lightweight women's single sculls. So much racing to be done, and I'm really curious how this one will progress.
E Olivia Bates della Gran Bretagna a condurre le fila di questo quarto recupero del singolo leggero femminile, lei che durante le batterie ha totalizzato il quarto miglior tempo assoluto con 7:38,82, è però tallonata sia dalla Svizzera che dall'Argentina, atleta svizzera che viene dal Rowing Club di Talwil nel canton Zurigo, con l'Argentina un'atleta giovanissima che è rimasta in sordina nelle batterie e adesso tenta il tutto e per tutto in questo recupero per andare ad acciuffare la posizione utile al passaggio alla semifinale AB. Quindi Gran Bretagna per la prima posizione, poi lotta a due tra Svizzera e Argentina, più arretrata invece l'Uruguay.
A fantastic battle there behind Olivia Bates from Great Britain, who is leading still way out in front, but Aline Schweitzer from Switzerland and Julieta Gonzalez Ricciuti are fighting stroke for stroke, Rob. Currently the Swiss athlete is in front, but only by a couple of meters, so I think we'll see a very firm sprint there coming from the Argentine.
Yes, I do hope so. It's very exciting. That battle for second place is the really exciting one, because I think Britain's Olivia Bates has got this one in terms of coming home in first place.
Olivia Bates, davvero una gara magistrale, 34 colpi, un passo direi anche controllato che le ha permesso di dominare insieme alla Svizzera per queste prime due posizioni, ma c'è l'Argentina che inizia a fare paura. Sta provando a rientrare sulla Svizzera, dimostrando di potersi giocare ottime chance, e a questo punto che ci si deve scrollare di dosso la voglia e soprattutto dimostrare di voler passare il turno. Da un lato l'Argentina che rientra sulla Svizzera, all'esterno solitaria la Gran Bretagna, ma l'Argentina insidia pericolosamente la Svizzera.
This is a really thrilling finish here. Olivia Bates needs to still work hard to maintain that lead. The challenge now is coming through from the Argentinian, who is going to take that second spot. That's a fantastic fight back from Gonzalez Ricciuti of Argentina, who will claim that second qualification spot behind Olivia Bates of Great Britain. Desperately unlucky for Aline Schweitzer of Switzerland, but what a race from Gonzalez Ricciuti of Argentina, finishing behind Olivia Bates of Great Britain. Those two go through to the AB semi-final.
Una rimonta eccezionale, Gran Bretagna ed Argentina promosse, con Svizzera ed Uruguay invece per le finali CD.
So we're on to the repechage of the lightweight men's single sculls, with Azerbaijan, Spain, Uzbekistan, USA and Algeria contesting this one. Colleen, there they are. Look out your window.
There they are, exactly at halfway. And I'm just delighted to tell you about the story of this race, because it's an exciting one. Spain currently leading, Uzbekistan in hot pursuit. And then just behind him, the American sculler Nicholas Aronau. Those three in contention for those top two qualifying positions. And then on the outside, it's Mamadzada from Azerbaijan, and on the far side, Boudrimon from Algeria. Looking really good right now for Uzbekistan. For the American, for Spain, it's your pick, Neve.
Well, the Uzbekistan sculler is after taking the lead now. USA, Spain in hot pursuit. There is absolutely nothing between those three scullers, and it was great to see the battle as they went through past our window here. It was very exciting to watch. At the moment, top two go through to the semi-final. It is absolutely anyone's game at the moment. Uzbekistan still holding on to that lead. USA, though, they are matching each other again stroke for stroke, same stroke rate, and it looks like same speed. So I'm not sure how it's going to go.
Yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye. It looks like Spain may be falling a little bit off the pace, which would be good news for the USA and for Safarev of Uzbekistan. Tim, they're coming towards you. Are these two leaders starting to move away from the pack?
Yeah, that's right on the money there, Colleen. Two athletes in the center lanes. We look to the Uzbekistanian sculler and the American sculler in those center lanes. And they are really moving away in the third 500, trying to open up a gap and secure those two spots into the AB semi-final. Right in front of our commentary position, it's still Safaroliev from Uzbekistan, who is in the lead by half a length over Princeton University athlete Nicolas Anronau, who is, I think, moving through. He's really trying to get his bow ball in front, but yeah, that battle between the two front runners takes them even further away from the rest of the field. So I think they're secure in one of those two AB semi-final positions.
Brillano i colori dell'Uzbekistan alla schieranna di Varese in questo primo recupero del singolo pesi leggeri maschile. L'atleta che ha totalizzato il quinto miglior tempo nelle batterie, ha già partecipato anche alle Olimpiadi nell'anno 2020 e è pronto a volare verso il traguardo vittorioso in questo recupero per qualificarsi alla semifinale AB. Insieme a lui l'atleta degli Stati Uniti d'America, che ha appannaggio della seconda posizione, a completare poi la Spagna, che cerca di farsi sotto ma probabilmente dovrà accontentarsi delle semifinali C e D nella giornata di giovedì.
So the two front runners upping their game and increasing their lead over the rest of the field, Rob. So it looks to me like Uzbekistan and the USA going to that AB semi-final.
Yes, Safaroliev of Uzbekistan was perhaps a little unlucky in his heat, just couldn't get past the Danish sculler in the heat yesterday, so wants to make amends for that and assure himself of a place in the AB semis here.
È un'occasione di riscatto, dicevamo proprio così fin dall'apertura. Uzbekistan che sta cercando di dominare insieme agli Stati Uniti. Uzbekistan è rimasto fuori davvero per una manciata di centesimi ieri ed oggi in gran rimonta. Quindi Uzbekistan e Stati Uniti.
Yes, Safaroliev is just going to hold on to that lead as Aronau of USA comes home, just 3/4 of a length behind. So Uzbekistan and USA progress to the AB semi-finals. The other crews will contest the CD semis. The second repechage, Italy go in lane 1 with Switzerland in 2, Canada lane 3, Portugal in lane 4.
Italia in acqua 1, Emmanuel Berkamine, in acqua 2 Svizzera, 3 il Canada, 4 il Portogallo in questo secondo recupero del singolo leggero maschile.
So Switzerland, one of the quicker teams here from the heats of yesterday. I think I'm right in saying, Colleen, are they making their mark?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Gianzina of Switzerland certainly making his mark. And, it kind of makes sense when you look at his pedigree on paper. So the European Championships last year, he took the bronze in the men's lightweight single. We saw him last summer in Rice at the Under-23 Championships, where he was in the A final, finishing 6th in the men's lightweight double. So he's moved into the single, and he's making sure that he advances on to semifinal AB.
And today is an extra special day for him because he is turning 21 today. So he's just passing us here at the 1,000 metre mark. Much to celebrate, birthday and hopefully a first place finish for him. But it is not certain at the moment because it is quite close between Switzerland and Canada. Stephen Harris there. He used to row on a quad back in his junior days, 2019, but moved into the single, which we're seeing with a lot of athletes. But quite close as well. Italy, not too far off the pace. And then we also have Portugal.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Niamh. In Italy, this athlete, Emmanuel Berkamine, making his international debut. So not international debut, but under-23 debut. So moving from the junior category and for the first time racing up that category at just 19 years old. So fantastic to see him here. He'll know, of course, that there's just 2 slots. The Canadian sculler and the Swiss sculler continue to push on. Stephen Harris from Canada and Gianzina from Switzerland. Tim, they're coming towards you. It's looking like these are our 2 front runners.
I think you're right, Colleen. It's Switzerland and Canada out in front, racing from the center lanes. And, well, judging by the times from yesterday's heat, I'm not surprised to see Gianzina from Switzerland in the lead. The birthday boy there who has his bauble in front, but only just because Stephen Harris from Canada is right alongside him, just 2 meters back. And those two look to distance themselves from the Italian athletes and the Portuguese sculler to their left and right. And they are doing so quite effectively, I might add. So it's Switzerland and Canada moving further away and securing those 2 spots into the AB semi-final, it seems.
Agli ultimi 500 metri del percorso e proprio in questo momento al passaggio dei 1500 metri un bellissimo punta a punta tra Canada e Svizzera per le prime 2 posizioni di questo secondo recupero del singolo leggero maschile. Il Canada che in questo momento parte all'attacco della Svizzera. L'atleta svizzero, che aveva disputato una tiratissima batteria con l'atleta belga, fu costretto a cedere il passo nella giornata di ieri sul traguardo e oggi cerca il riscatto per andare ad aggiudicarsi la finale AEP. Anche l'Italia con il 19enne Emmanuel Berkamine, portacolori della società canottieri Esperia di Torino, già quarto in doppio ai mondiali junior nel 2021, 3 volte campione d'Italia, cerca di portarsi all'aggancio delle imbarcazioni di testa, ma paga un po' lo scotto della partenza quando Svizzera e Canada volano verso il traguardo vittoriose.
So Switzerland and Canada still out in front. It's still neck and neck between Canada and Switzerland. And Rob, I am very curious, are there any cowbells to be heard at your position?
We're a little well insulated in here. I'll keep an ear out. Can't hear any just at the moment. But yeah, Emmanuel Berkamine has just fallen too far back now. It's down to Harris of Canada and Gianzina of Switzerland to battle out this one now.
Senza davvero alcun dubbio, la Svizzera che continua insieme al Canada a suonare la carica più forte in questo recupero, con l'Italia che purtroppo è scivolata in terza piazza. Emmanuel Berkamine non riuscirà a passare il turno, appannaggio esclusivo di Svizzera e Canada quando mancano oramai 20 metri al traguardo.
Yeah, Gianzina is going to take this one and putting on an extra spurt to just make doubly sure of it, finishing by a length and a half ahead of our Canadian Stephen Harris. There are the cowbells. I confess they're not real ones. Someone's just found some sound effects to stick in front of my microphone. But there we are. So good result there for Switzerland and Canada through to the AB semis. On to the third repechage in the lightweight men's single sculls, with Poland, Argentina, Peru and Puerto Rico contesting a place in the AB semi-finals.
Terzo recupero sempre singolo leggero maschile con Polonia, Argentina, Perù che sono pronte insieme a lottare per le prime 2 posizioni, l'accesso in semifinale. In questo momento al comando c'è il Perù, un'eccellente partenza per lui davanti all'Argentina.
Might be a little South American battle going on here, I think, out at the front of this one, Colleen.
I think that's absolutely what we're seeing unfold. It's at the moment, it's the Peruvian sculler, so Sandra Gardea Bozo out holding on to that first place position. Just next to him, though, in lane 2, Pedro Jose Kirk-Dixon, who we saw last year at the Under-23 Championships, where he finished 5th. So looking to get onto the podium this year, I'm sure. The first task ahead of them, though, will be to advance to semi-final A, B. It's Peru leading Argentina.
They are just going past us here now out the window at the 1,000 meter mark. Definitely Peru kind of starting to pull out a little bit from Argentina, and then back we have Poland over in lane 1, the far side from us, us here at the side of the grandstand, and then closest to us we have Puerto Rico currently sitting in 4th place.
Rodrigo Meranda Orroyo from Puerto Rico, and fantastic to see him here representing Puerto Rico, making his international debut out of lane 4, closest to the grandstand. So you'll have to give him a cheer as he comes by. Up at the top, well, the 2 leaders still hold. It's Peru and Argentina, but they are so close. Sandro Gardea Bozo of Peru and Pedro Jose Kirk-Dixon of Argentina now trading places, and in fact, for the first time, Argentina, Tim, puts his bow ahead of Peru, back and forth.
Yeah, that's so impressive to see him move through in the third 500 of this race. The young Argentinian sculler Dixon there getting his Bible ahead, but yeah, there's very little to choose from between the two athletes from Peru and Argentina. They were well, more or less evenly matched in yesterday's heat in terms of time. They both 7 minutes and 3 seconds for Dixon and 7 minutes 2 seconds for Gardella Bozzo. But yeah, those two athletes doing the same thing as we saw other athletes in the previous repechage do. They try to distance themselves and get a bit of a cushion in the third 500 so they can relax and ease off in the final 500 meters. But yeah, so far none of these athletes seem to be getting their foot off the gas. It's still going stroke for stroke between the Argentinian and the Peruvian.
Pedro Dixon dell'Argentina e Sandro Gardella Bozzo del Perù stanno giocando al gatto e alla volpe e si rincorrono agli ultimi 500 metri del percorso. Un bellissimo punta a punta per questi due atleti. Ricordiamo l'Argentina favorito a livello di tempo nelle batterie eliminatorie, con il Perù veramente una bellissima regata, quando invece in terza posizione permane la Polonia, in quarta Porto Rico. Ultimi 400 metri del percorso anche per questo terzo recupero del singolo pesigeri maschile, con Perù e Argentina veramente in grande spolvero.
So whilst Dixon and Gardella Bozzo from Peru and Argentina are trading places and trading punches all the way down to the line, they look set for one of those two spots in the AB semi-final, with Poland and Puerto Rico following clear water behind Rob.
Yeah, it's split up again, hasn't it, Tim, in the way we've seen with some of the previous repechage here. We've got a definite 1-2, but we don't know which way round.
E allora vediamo in quest'ultima frazione cosa succederà. Da un lato l'Argentina con Pedro Dixon, dall'altro Sandro Gardella Bozzo, atleta del Perù, che vogliono a tutti i costi mettere in sicurezza la loro promozione, ma è altrettanto bello, indipendentemente dal risultato, segnalare la presenza del Porto Rico, un atleta in grande crescita che sta cercando di sviluppare il canottaggio con tutto un programma dedicato a livello di Comitato Olimpico Internazionale nel proprio paese. All'esterno l'Argentina però sembra avere una marcia in più.
Dixon of Argentina is going to hold off the challenge, and he does so to take it by a length ahead of Gardella Bozzo of Peru. But what a super race between the two of those, and they are rewarded handsomely by going through to an AB semi-final. Medal opportunities remain for them. Not so for the other two crews, but they will contest the CD semi-finals, and that will affect their overall world rankings. To the fourth and final repechage of the lightweight men's single sculls, we have Israel, Germany, Austria and Brazil. Austria, I think, the quickest of all these boats in these repechage of the lightweight men's single sculls. And is that showing in this repechage? I'm just saying repechage as many times as I possibly can in one sentence.
Yeah, we love it. We love it here at the 1,000. Yeah, it is showing in this repechage, isn't it? We're looking across the board here, and we have 3 boats level for 2 positions. The only crew perhaps out of it at the moment, it's Daniel Dubitsky from Israel, just slightly off the pace, but up at the top of the field, looking so good for Brazil. That's Ferreira Batista of Brazil leading Germany. Then it's over to Austria and Israel.
They are just passing us here at the 1,000 metre mark. Brazil now starting to pull away from the other two, but it is very hard to say. Germany and Austria are very close behind. And then we have Israel. So we have Daniel Dubitsky there. He rode at the World Cup 3 recently. Colleen, do you think it helps to race internationally, you know, in the same season, a couple of months before a race like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially at the under 23s, when you have the chance to race up an age category, really against truly the best in the world in an open age bracket. It absolutely makes a difference, and I think we're seeing that pay off for a lot of the athletes here at the Under-23 Championship. So no doubt about it, that is working in Dubitsky's favor from Israel. It's looking like he will be relegated to semifinal C/D because up at the top of the pack, well, it's continuing to heat up. Looking fantastic for Barreira Batista from Brazil. And then, oh, Tim, it's your pick for second. Can you sort it out for us?
Well, not at the moment, not just yet. It's very close. It's Ferreira Batista still in the lead, and he's comfortably ahead. And you can see that by his style, very long style. He takes his blade into the water, and then he really takes his time to lock the oars and push off. But yeah, to his left, he must keep an eye on those two athletes from Germany and Austria, because they are almost level coming to our position. 500 meters still left to go, and Max von Belau and Konrad Hülsch from Germany and Austria respectively fighting it out for that last place into the AB semi-final. So it's a very, well, it's going to be very tight because there's still overlap, and Max von Belau, I think, no, that's, forgive me, it's the Austrian Konrad Hülsch from Linz, from the Viking Ruderverein, who's taken the initiative and moves into second position.
Una tecnica molto particolare, quella dell'atleta del Brasile, che con solo 30 colpi battuti, una palata molto distesa e lunghissima, conduce questa quarto recupero del singolo leggero maschile. Una bella azione anche da parte dell'atleta dell'Austria in corsia numero 3, mentre la Germania, partita molto bene, rimanendo tra la testa del gruppo, ora paga un po' lo scotto verso il traguardo quando mancano gli ultimi 400 metri anche per andare a completare questa prova, mentre la quarta posizione rimane appannaggio di Israele, quando agli ultimi metri Austria e Brasile si contendono il passaggio del turno alla semifinale AIP.
So it's still Brazil out in front, Ferreira Batista, who is leading this race, but the fantastic finishing rhythm from Konrad Hülsch from Austria is drawing him level and into the lead, Rob.
That's interesting, isn't it? And that might just have done now for Max von Bülow of Germany. It might be over for him, but there's still a bit of distance to go. But Ferreira Batista, Brazil, now ahead of Konrad Hülsch of Austria.
Brasile ed Austria, Austria e Brasile, sentite il tifo, accende la tribuna ancora una volta qui alla Schirana, il Brasile da un lato, l'Austria dall'altra, per andare a mettere in sicurezza la promozione con una Germania che all'esterno cambia vertiginosamente. Attenzione in chiusura.
It's all changed here as we come down to the finish line. The win goes to Austria's Konrad Hülsch. But what about this second qualification spot? It is just taken by Max von Bülow of Germany. We'll await confirmation, but it looked to me like it was Hülsch and of Austria and von Bülow of Germany who've got those two AB semi-final spots. What a great rep.
Uno sprint eccezionale l'abbiamo chiamato, probabilmente ci ha sentito nell'ultima frazione. Austria-Germania, terzo Brasile, quarto Israele.
Yeah, that result confirmed. Hülsch of Austria, von Bülow of Germany. We're now into the single rep of the under-23 men's single sculls with Finland, Cyprus, Latvia, Israel, and the Bahamas. And you can finish where you like in this one if you want to get through to the quarterfinals, except last. Who holds that place right now, Colleen?
Yeah, it's a great point, right, in this 5-boat race with 4 advancing on to the quarterfinal. Last is the one spot that you don't want to be in. At the moment, that's Deharon Berlin Smith of the Bahamas, but fantastic to see him here. He's the single entrant from Bahamas, coached by Andrea Prozek, who we heard on the microphone earlier on the commentary team, and just fantastic to see representation from Smith here, representing the Bahamas. The top 4 in contention then to advance, well, it's looking good for Cyprus, Latvia, and then it's over to Finland, Israel, and then back to the Bahamas.
as they just go past us here now. It looks like Latvia are actually starting to speed up a little bit. Boat speed is going up. So it'll be interesting to see now if they can overtake Cyprus. Of course, top four go through to the quarterfinals, so it doesn't entirely matter if he can get past them. But it looks like right now, actually, you know what? Latvia have gone past him. Richard Strenders, their 19-year-old representing Latvia.
Yeah, what a battle up at the top is right. Latvia then leading the way over the sculler from Cyprus. That's Raras Andre Nachita, the single entrant from Cyprus as well. So lots on his shoulder representing Cyprus and doing it in style up at the top of the pack with Latvia. Latvia with 3 entrants at the under 23 level. So Latvia, cool 35 strokes per minute. That's Ricard's Stenders holding pace with the rest of the field. They're now just moving through that third quarter of the race, approaching 500 meters to go. And it's looking like we have at least 2 clear leaders, Tim, as they come towards you.
Yeah, 2 leaders comfortably out in front. It's Stenders from Latvia and Nachita from Cyprus. And, well, looking at the rates, I think they are easing off already with over 500 meters to go. They have such a healthy margin over the rest of the field, and crucially that last spot, that they can ease off and enjoy the ride here on the beautiful Lago di Varese. Actually, Stenders from Latvia, he is still at 35 strokes a minute, I see. So he's not really easing off, but yeah, clear water for him, followed by Cyprus, and then it's very close between the athletes from Finland, Elias Havisto on the far side of the lake, and we have Israeli sculler Yekutili I think he's just in 3rd position actually, followed by the Finnish athlete, and then Smith from the Bahamas in 5th.
È l'atleta lettone ad avere una marcia in più in questo unico recupero del singolo under 23 maschile. Il giovanissimo 19enne atleta in rappresentanza della Lettonia guida la testa di questo gruppo dell'unico recupero del singolo under 23 maschile, con Israele, Cipro e Finlandia per la seconda, terza e quarta posizione, tutte utili per il passaggio del turno ai quarti di finale. Più arretrato invece l'atleta delle Bahamas, che ci sta mettendo però sempre il tutto e per tutto per andare alla conquista delle posizioni utili per il passaggio del turno.
So with the front runners entering the Red Bull area, Rob, this race is done and dusted, it seems to me. But what a great race we've been shown from these athletes.
Yes, Ricard Stankus in Stenders in particular of Latvia, and Raras Andre Nachita of Cyprus, very much the front runners here. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Yekutli of Israel, but they know, along with Elias Havisto of Finland, that they are safe for qualification through to the quarterfinals. And let's hear it as well for Darren Berlin-Smith, who's only very recently stepped into this particular boat.
Se la Lettonia con Stenders continua a volare verso il traguardo, sicuramente dobbiamo segnarci anche il nome dell'atleta delle Bahamas, che 2 mesi fa remava ancora con l'8 ed oggi è a un campionato del mondo in singolo, un vero talento da tenere sotto controllo.
Stenders of Latvia does indeed cross the line first, and a lot of clear water between him and the second-placed athlete, Nachita of Cyprus. But as long as you come through in the first 4, you're assured of qualification to the quarterfinals. 3rd place is going to be Yekutili of Israel, and 4th over in lane 1, Havisto of Finland. So their places are assured. For Darren Berlin-Smith of Bahamas, let's give him a real cheer as he comes down to the finish line. New in this boat, he's looking in terrific shape. His regatta finishes here today, but he deserves a real reception as he comes down to the finish line.
Ed eccolo sul traguardo, abbiamo avuto modo di raccontarvi la sua storia. Vi ricordo che è anche allenato da una campionessa olimpica, oro ai giochi di Tokyo, Andrea Prosche, che sta mettendo cuore e grinta nello sviluppo di questo ragazzo, un talento che speriamo possa far parlare del proprio paese nel prossimo futuro del remo internazionale.
We now have 2 final reps to come in the women's single sculls, with Algeria, Great Britain, Latvia, Mexico and Israel contesting this first one. Looks like Great Britain are just out in front as they pass you by, Colleen.
Yeah, Lauren Henry of GB out of lane 2, looking really solid as she moves through that halfway point and into the third quarter of the race. Last year, she was at the Under-23 Championships in Rico, and she was just off the podium, so finishing 4th. She'll be looking to improve upon that position here at the 2022 Championships. And we know that it's 2 to advance to semi-final A, B, so while she's got clear water truly over the full field, we're still keeping an eye on second, Niamh, aren't we?
We are, and it's currently Latvia sitting in second. Lane Rump there, excuse me, who made the podium at the juniors last year. So she has made the step up and she is looking very strong out there as well. You mentioned there about Great Britain finishing 4th. I think that can be a point of heartbreak in a rower's career, but it's also a make or break point, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the fuel that keeps you motivated training session after training session, regatta after regatta, and clearly that hard work really paying off for Lauren Henry of GB, coached by Peter Shepard. The back of the field, though, just behind in terms of the back of the field behind Henry, as mentioned, still keeping an eye on that second qualifying position, which is looking really good for Latvia. And then closest contention, well, that's Mexico, Mildred Belen Mercado Palacios, as they close in through the middle third quarter of the race, approaching the final 500. Tim, they're coming towards you. How does Lauren Henry look for GB?
Yeah, she looks really relaxed, to be honest. I think she knows she has this in the bag. I think she was just unlucky yesterday to be drawn in a heat with 2 of the top athletes from this event, from Germany and Greece. But yeah, she's making amends today and proudly representing her club, Leicester Rowing Club, here on Lago di Varese. And she's wound down all the way to 25 strokes a minute, so she's really easing off. But she has, I think, 30 or perhaps even 40 meters of a lead over Rumpe from Latvia, who is still to cross the 1500 meter line. And behind her, it's very close for the Mexican athlete as well. And on the on the far side, we see Manseri from Algeria in 4th position with the Israeli sculler here also clear water back, but Lauren Henry looking comfortable on this lake and really going strong.
Scivola velocemente sull'acqua l'equipaggio del Gran Bretagna, che ha la testa del gruppo di ben 50 metri di vantaggio. Per la seconda posizione la Lettonia, Lane Rump, già bronzo agli Europei Junior nell'anno 2021, poi per la terza posizione il Messico, Algeria e Israele a completare. Ricordiamo che solamente le prime 2 posizioni sono valide per il passaggio del turno alle semifinali A e B, e in questo momento sono appannaggio di Gran Bretagna e Lettonia ben delineate.
So just, I think, a demonstration of rowing there, Rob. You must be happy to see Lauren Henry out in front.
Absolutely delighted, and she's looked strong from the outset. And as you say, she's managed to really ease off here. And in fact, the Latvian athlete, I think, also has eased off just a little bit, because there is a long way back now for 3rd place. So it's the first 2, of course, that go through to the AB semi-final.
In chiusura, in questi ultimi 200 metri ci si gioca non solo la promozione, ma anche la possibilità di continuare a sognare in chiave iridata, e insieme alla Gran Bretagna, che di fatto è fuori con oltre 15 secondi di vantaggio, cerca di rinvenire anche il Messico sulla Lettonia, ma ancora una volta la Gran Bretagna non vuole sentire ragioni, e controllando con un ritmo addirittura 24 colpi al minuto, in italiano diremmo un ritmo di fondo, si va ad accaparrare quella che è la grande vittoria, gustandosi ogni centimetro di questo recupero.
Very comfortable win for Lauren Henry of Great Britain, just paddling through now as she hits the finish line. 4.5, 5 maybe lengths ahead of Lina Rumpa of Latvia. She won't mind that a bit. They both qualify for the AB semi-final, with the remaining athletes Mercado Palacios of Mexico, Manseri of Algeria, and Tayeb Hegarty of Israel. It is CD semi-finals for those 3 crews. So on to the final rep and the final race of the day, and it's the women's single sculls second rep. USA in lane 1, Ireland in lane 2, Estonia in 3, Peru in lane 4, Hungary in 5, and the Philippines in lane 6. Here they come, Colleen.
Yeah, it's looking really nice for Team Ireland, who's leading at the moment. Then it's over to Peru, Estonia, and Ella Berry of the USA, coached by Amadeus Pietrzak. Special shout out to her grandfather, who is in the podium back in the grandstand. But let's hear about Team Ireland from Niamh.
Oh, so good to see the green blades going past us here in first place. Alison Bergen representing Fermoy Rowing Club. She finished 9th last year, but she was very, very fast yesterday in her heat. So I know she is sitting comfortably there now and getting a lot of support from home. Particularly, she is part of the Big Strong Girls group, and I know there's a lot of support for them. And I mentioned then as well to her coach, Leah O'Regan, who used to be a cox. She moved into the coaching role. Is that something that you're coming from a coxing background, Colleen? Is that something?
Yeah, it's a real skill set to be a coach, and a one that I never have tried to do, but I really admire all of the fabulous coaches, certainly around the world, and all of the coaches that are here at the Under-23 World Rowing Championships. Ireland still out leading the pack, running second, holding on to that qualifying position. Tim, it's getting really tight, but it's looking like Peru.
Yeah, it's really tightening up with 500 meters still left to row. It's incredibly tense here from our commentary position. Not for Alison Bergen from Ireland. She's way out in front and looking comfortable at, 31 strokes a minute. She's not easing off just yet, but she has clear water to lead over the rest of the field. But behind her, the battle is really hotting up between Peru, Estonia, and I think the US of A. Well, the US of A represented by Ella Berry, not really into it. I think I saw that incorrectly, but it's really tight for that last qualifying position. I think it is the sculler from that must be Peru then, in second now, moving into second position.
Si confermano le velocità delle batterie delle atlete dell'Irlanda e del Perù che vanno verso il traguardo a appannaggio delle posizioni utili per l'accesso alle semifinali A e B in questo secondo recupero del singolo Under 23 femminile. Vediamo le imbarcazioni che si portano agli ultimi 600 metri del percorso, con l'Irlanda a condurre ancora una volta. 50 sono i metri di vantaggio nei confronti dell'atleta del Perù. Le imbarcazioni viaggiano entrambe a circa 32 palate al minuto, un bellissimo passo di gara questo per l'ultima regata di oggi pomeriggio.
So the Irish athlete maintaining her speed very constantly over this final part of the course. She seems to me to be safe through to the AB semi-final, and a decisive move from Sanguinetti Velasco from Peru to move into that last position to the AB semi-final, Rob.
Yeah, great piece of sculling from the Peruvian. She is moving up, but the important thing for her is she's moving clear of the Estonia in third. She won't catch Alison Bergen of Ireland. This is very much her race.
Quando l'Irlanda riesce ancora ad allungare, un'Irlanda che non si vuole arrendere, un'Irlanda che sta dimostrando davvero di andare sempre più forte, e spesso ci si dimentica, ma non si può fare a meno di ricordare che anche qui un po' di tocco di italianità con Antonio Mauro Giovanni in cabina di regia c'è e si vede, e quindi l'Irlanda lì lontana rispetto alle avversarie è pronta a mettere in sicurezza questa promozione, l'ultima di giornata alla Schirana di Varese.
It's a super finish from Alison Bergen, a super race from her all the way down these 2,000 meters. We keep saying they look comfortable. It's anything but comfortable doing this, but she's just such a strong sculler, and she's shown her strength there. Really impressive. There is a great battle, though, developing for this second and final qualification spot for the AB semi-finals. It might just go to the Peruvian, and she does hold on. Sanguinetti Velasco does hold on to that second semi-final spot, but there's a heck of a challenge coming through from Ella Berry of the USA. But Ireland, Peru qualify for the AB semi-finals. The remaining crews will contest the CD semis.
Una promozione netta, schiacciante, con 18 secondi di vantaggio. E questa è la chiusura di Alison Bergen, atleta irlandese capace di imporsi con misura sul Perù. Queste le prime due posizioni che garantiscono il passaggio del turno. Tutti gli altri invece andranno a disputare le semifinali per le finali C e D.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes day 2, and it's been a really impressive day's competition as well. Thanks to all the competitors who've acquitted themselves so spectacularly. Thanks also to all the support we've had here from the grandstand and around the course, and of course to all of you following us on your computer on the stream as well. So day 3 gets underway tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning once again, and of course it's been the under-23s taking centre stage for these opening 2 days, but the under-19s take centre stage tomorrow morning for a couple of hours with their competition, and then in the afternoon from about 2 o'clock we'll have some more repechage in the under-23s. So a lot to look forward to again tomorrow. Rob Curling here alongside Luca Brogini, the voice of Italian rowing. Always a pleasure to be with him.
Thank you very much. It's great to have you back here in town, here in Varese.
Thank you. Grazie mille.
Oh wow, you are now fluent. Un grazie di cuore anche da parte mia per essere stati con noi, è stata una giornata a dir poco straordinaria, siamo entrati nel vivo di quello che è il campionato del mondo Under 23. Domani invece si taglia il nastro o si tira sul sipario, scegliete voi quale di queste due espressioni preferite con il settore juniores. Settore under 19 si parte alle 9.00 con le qualificazioni che continueranno fino alle 10.50. Poi un lungo break nel pomeriggio invece interamente dedicato agli under 23, tutti i recuperi tra le 14 e le 16.20. Grazie ancora per essere stati con noi in questa splendida giornata, una buona permanenza a Varese, a risentirci a domani per un'altra grande giornata di questo campionato del mondo. A tutti voi una buona serata e soprattutto buon divertimento nella città giardino.